a star, dancing in the night, with a tail as big as a kite, as a tail as big as a kite. A star, a star. This beautiful image that led the wise of the East, the Magi, to behold that Christ is born in time for our salvation. And this image of the star has been a source of inspiration from that day onward to many artists and musicians. The star certainly is a big part of our nativity scenes. And the star, as representing the light in the night sky, comes into our homes on our Christmas trees, is visible in our windows with lighted candles, that we know how important the light in the night sky is, the comfort that it brings to us. And today, we celebrate that the wise of the East found Jesus through the rising of a star. A star, dancing in the night. As I was thinking about this feast day, a day that traditionally marks the end of our celebration of the 12 days of Christmas, some even refer to the Epiphany as the Little Christmas, that during these 12 days, since the feast of Christmas itself to today, we have many beautiful images of how we are to steep ourselves into this mystery of the incarnation of God in Jesus Christ. And today we celebrate what we call Epiphany. And when we think about what that word means, these words came to my mind: revelation, an aha moment, an insight, epiphany. And I think that if we examine our own experience about how we have an epiphany or insight or an aha moment, that it is indeed something that doesn't happen right off the bat, that it takes some time to reflect on our experience. And certainly in these 12 days of the season of Christmas, we have been reflecting on this mystery of God becoming flesh. I was thinking about some of the early things that I learned in my experience of being a chef in culinary arts. That the first thing they teach us is that when people experience something that we have prepared in the kitchen, their first experience of it isn't the dish itself, but what does it come from? It comes from our sight, right? So if something is presented awful, it doesn't have the same appeal to us. It's not as appetizing. And in fact, many people in restaurants now have this open kitchen concept so that as soon as we walk in the restaurant, which sense is then really invigorated? It's our scent, right? So that we move toward this culinary experience not just by the taste of the event, but by first the sight and then the smell. Those things probably happen in our own sitting around our tables almost simultaneously, and then we have a fullness of that experience of enjoying that dish. A few years ago, I made a fruit basket for some friends for their son's graduation party. So the family brought me, watermelons and melons and all this kind of stuff. And then I cut out of the watermelon a whale, and then used the other fruits for things of the sea. And he said to me, isn't it all in the presentation? And so much of that is absolutely true. That first, as we experience revelation or insight, we move first from what we see and then engage our other senses, our smell and our hearing, to this revelation that God has made his home with us. That indeed, God is here in our midst. Another example of kind of peeling away the outer core to getting to the center might be peeling an onion. And we know that onions have these very distinct layers, like a ring of a tree that is cut open, that we can see that we move inward to examine this insight that these wise men from the East had, that in the birth of a baby, something simple and ordinary, we have found our salvation. The people from the East experienced something. First, they saw the rising of a star, something that amazed them, and they were drawn toward it because they wanted to see what it revealed. And the question that I might ask of all of us to consider today is, are we like that rising star? Are people drawn to our light and our goodness? Or do people, when they see us, are they looking rather at a black hole and they want to run away as quickly as possible? Because part of the Feast of the Epiphany is that we reveal Christ to the world as well. That we not just leave this event in the past and in our manger scenes and pack it away until next Christmas, but that each and every day we are like the radiance of a brilliant star shining and dancing in the night that is absolutely visible. The Magi saw something, then they experienced something, and then with eyes and ears of faith, they began to believe. They had an epiphany, and then they spread the word to all they meet. A star, dancing in the night. As I was preparing for this weekend's homily, this song certainly came to my mind. I'm not sure when I sang it last, maybe in high school choir, who knows. But as I looked at the lyrics of the song, I was thinking that each first line of the verse has something to do with the Feast of the Epiphany that means something to us. This movement forward into having an epiphany. Who is Jesus for you? And do you believe? Are you ready and willing to proclaim? Said the night wind to the little lamb, do you see what I see? Said the little lamb to the shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? Said the shepherd boy to the mighty king, do you know what I know? Said the king to people everywhere, listen to what I say. Do we see? Do we hear? Do we know? And then do we speak of that Christ is really here in our midst, loving us and saving us, bringing us goodness and light to the world? Amen.